Step back in time and picture American Rewind World, where your vintage fridge was a giant block of ice and tiny elevators transported meals between floors. Today, let's dive into 12 old home features of 1940s USA that have faded away into history and are now just vintage memories of yesteryears. Telephone nooks. They were small spaces in older houses, made especially for the home's landline phone. They were usually part of a wall or hallway. These nooks had a seat so you could sit while talking on the phone, and a flat surface where you could write things down, like phone numbers or notes. They were important back when most people used landline phones to talk to each other. Now, with cell phones everywhere, we don't really see these nooks in new houses anymore. Ice boxes. Long before our modern fridges, ice boxes were the go-to for keeping food chilled. These early 20th century coolers, also known as cold closets, were simple yet ingenious. A hefty ice block sat in an upper compartment, chilling the air that then flowed down to preserve food below. Constructed with walls lined in tin or zinc and insulated with cork, sawdust, or straw, these ice boxes required frequent ice replacements, often from the local iceman. This design was a game changer, allowing food to stay fresh longer without needing to smoke or dry it. Transom windows. These petite windows perched above doors are a charming relic from older buildings. Before the era of air conditioning and central heating, transom windows were all the rage for their ability to let in a breeze and extra light, enhancing both ventilation and security. They were opened using a special tool called a transom operator. More than just practical, these windows added a distinctive architectural touch to any space. Murphy beds. In the 1940s in the USA, these were also known as wall beds. Murphy beds were quite popular, especially in small homes or apartments. These beds were designed to fold up into a wall or a cabinet, which helped save a lot of space. When the bed was not in use, you could simply fold it up, and it would look like a part of the wall or a cabinet, giving you more room for other activities. This was really useful in small living spaces where every bit of space mattered. People living in cities or in tiny apartments found Murphy beds very handy for making the most out of their limited space. Parlors. In the 18th and 19th centuries, the parlor was a symbol of your social standing. This was the showpiece room where families welcomed guests, flaunting their finest furniture and artwork. Known as the house's pride, the parlor played host to significant events like weddings, births, and funerals. Kept under lock and key when not in use to maintain its pristine condition, it was a space of elegance and comfort, often featuring plush chairs, a cozy sofa, and sometimes a piano. As times changed, bringing TVs and modern entertainment into homes, the parlor gradually transformed into today's living room. Servants' quarters. In grand homes from the late 17th to the early 20th century, servants' quarters were a common sight. These were the dedicated spaces where household staff lived and worked, often tucked away in basements, attics, or separate wings. The design was strategic, keeping servants close for work, yet discreetly apart from the main living areas. These quarters are a window into the past, revealing the stark contrasts between the lives of the wealthy and their servants, and how these dynamics evolved over time. Wash basins and pitchers. Before the luxury of indoor plumbing, wash basins and pitchers were household staples. These were typically housed on a washstand, a specially designed piece of furniture, often crafted from fine woods like mahogany or walnut. It was a daily ritual to use these basins and pitchers for washing up in the morning or before bed. As plumbing systems advanced, bringing sinks and running water into homes, the once essential washstands and pitchers faded into history, becoming relics of a bygone era. Coal chutes. In the Victorian era, especially before electricity became widespread, coal chutes were a vital feature in many homes. These metal chutes, built into the foundation wall, featured a hinged door leading to an angled tunnel. Here, coal trucks would deliver the week's fuel. The coal was stored in a special basement room, often leaving telltale black stains on the walls that can still be seen today. In homes without a coal chute, the task of transporting coal fell to workers known as lumpers, who used wheelbarrows or bags. In more affluent households, a device called the Riley-Stoker automated this process, moving coal from a hopper directly to the furnace, eliminating the need for manual shoveling. Knob and tube wiring. This early electrical wiring method, popular from the 1880s to the 1930s, involve single insulated copper conductors threaded through walls and ceilings, held in place by porcelain tubes and knobs. It was the go-to choice for its cost-effectiveness at the time. However, knob and tube wiring had significant limitations, such as the absence of a safety grounding conductor and a vulnerability to mechanical damage. As the electrical needs of homes grew, this wiring method became obsolete, giving way to modern, safer electrical systems. Milk doors. Imagine a time when fresh milk was delivered directly to your home, a common practice before the widespread use of refrigerators. Milk doors were a nifty solution in many old homes and apartments for this daily delivery. These small, two-way insulated doors, built into the walls, allowed the milkmen to deposit milk bottles from the outside. Residents could then conveniently retrieve them from inside, avoiding a trip outdoors. This clever design not only protected the milk from animals and potential theft, but also simplified life for homeowners. Milk doors were a significant convenience in an era before the advent of modern supermarkets and refrigeration. Butler's pantry. In the grand homes of the 19th and early 20th centuries, the butler's pantry was a crucial space. Positioned between the kitchen and dining room, this area or room was dedicated to storing and preparing for meal service. It housed essentials like silverware, china, and large serving dishes. The butler's pantry was also the spot for tasks such as polishing silver and inventorying items. In some households, the butler would even sleep in the pantry to safeguard the silver. While their role has evolved, butlers' pantries still grace some modern homes, often serving as a convenient area for meal setup and storage of dining essentials. Dumbwaiters. These miniature freight elevators were a staple in multi-story homes and are still seen in places like restaurants and schools. Before the advent of electric motors in the 1920s, dumbwaiters were manually operated using ropes and pulleys. Invented by George W. Cannon in the late 19th century, these devices were designed to be more compact and less capable than full-sized passenger elevators, typically handling loads up to a few hundred pounds. Dumbwaiters proved invaluable in large homes and buildings for transporting items like laundry, food, and other essentials between floors, simplifying the movement of goods in multi-level structures. Picture rails. In old houses, picture rails were a smart and stylish solution for hanging artwork. These molding strips ran along the walls, close to the ceiling. Using hooks and wires, people could hang pictures from these rails, avoiding damage to their plaster walls, which were prone to easy damage. More than just functional, picture rails also added an aesthetic element to rooms. Particularly popular in homes from the 19th and early 20th centuries, they are a testament to how people of that era skillfully blended practicality with elegance in their home decor. If you've enjoyed this journey through the American Vintage Tales video, exploring the fascinating features of old homes, don't forget to check out the next one. And remember, liking and subscribing really supports a small channel like ours.
Have you ever stumbled upon vintage photos of 1950s American homes and noticed something unusual you had not seen in modern houses? Today, we're taking a trip down memory lane, exploring the history of old home features from the 1950s that have now been abandoned. It's a journey filled with nostalgia and surprises from yesteryears. Stepping into a ranch-style home from the 1950s is like entering a world where simplicity and comfort reign supreme. These homes, with their single-story layouts, embrace the ease of living that many of us desire for. Everything you need is on one level. No navigating stairs to reach your bedroom or kitchen. It's not just about the practicality, it's about a lifestyle. Now, let's talk about the connection these homes have with nature. Large windows and sliding glass doors in a ranch-style home do more than just let in sunlight. They create a seamless bond with the outdoors. So, as we reflect on these homes from the past, it's not just about architecture, it's about a way of life that values simplicity, connection with nature, and togetherness. Don't you think these are values worth embracing in our modern world? In times gone by, dressing up for every occasion was the norm, unlike today's preference for wrinkle-resistant and casual wear. In this era of elegance, the ironing board was an essential household item. Tucked away in its own cabinet, it was always ready for use, making the task of pressing clothes as routine as washing them. The ironing board was a crucial part of maintaining the crisp appearance that was so valued in clothing. But not all features were purely practical. Take the coffin corners in Victorian-era homes, for instance. These mysterious niches in the staircase walls have sparked many a tale. Were they really designed for easing the descent of caskets? Or were they just artistic alcoves? The truth may be lost to history, but they certainly add a touch of intrigue to these vintage homes. Remember the linoleum flooring that graced many homes and buildings back in the 1960s? This wasn't just any ordinary flooring. Made from natural materials like linseed oil, cork, and jute, linoleum was not only durable and water-resistant, but also easy to maintain. Some even had designs that looked like marble, brick, or wood, adding a touch of elegance without the hefty price tag. Have you ever noticed the door knockers on older homes? While today's homes often rely on doorbells and cameras, the door knocker holds a special place in our history. These large, heavy metal knockers, now more decorative than functional, have a story that stretches back thousands of years. Originally serving as door handles, they've evolved into beautiful pieces that, if used, announce a guest's arrival with a touch of tradition. It's fascinating how many older homes still cherish this detail, adding a unique character to their facades. Let's turn back the clock and peek into a unique feature of the 1960 bathrooms, the razor slit. Hidden in the back of medicine cabinets, these small slots were more than just a design quirk. Back then, safety razors were the go-to for a clean shave at home. But what did one do with the used blades? This is where the razor slit came into play. After a shave, instead of tossing the used blade into the trash, you'd simply slide it into this slot. The blade would then fall into a hidden cavity within the wall, safely out of reach. This practice, common from the 1920s to the 1970s, was seen as a safer and cleaner way to dispose of these sharp objects. But there's a twist to this tale. Think about the surprise of homeowners or renovators who, years later, would open these walls for repairs or remodeling, only to find hundreds of rusty blades accumulated over time. They're a small but intriguing part of our domestic history, aren't they? Comment below what you think. Laundry chutes. In those days, homes had a certain cleverness, especially those with multiple floors. Did you know there used to be small doors in upstairs hallways, not for storage or secret rooms, but for laundry chutes? This simple yet ingenious solution allowed families to send laundry straight down to the basement. Imagine the convenience, bypassing the hassle of carrying heavy loads down the stairs. It's these small, practical touches that bring a sense of nostalgia for the simplicity of the past. Let's chat about an amazing bed called the Sorlien ceiling bed. Unlike the well-known Murphy bed, which tucks away into a closet or wall to save space, the Sorlien bed has a unique twist. It hides in the ceiling. Invented way back in 1913, this bed was pretty clever. You could lower it from the ceiling using a simple crank. And guess what? There were hidden weights inside the wall that helped balance the bed as it came down. It's like a cool secret bed that drops down from above. Have you ever noticed a cast iron tool near the entrance of older homes? These are boot scrapers, essential in the 18th and 19th centuries for cleaning mud off boots before entering a house. With the modernization of streets and sidewalks, their necessity waned, but they still add a historical touch to some homes. Moving into the 1960s and 1970s, some homes embraced a technological marvel for their cleaning needs: the central vacuum system. This innovative system, integrated into the very walls of the house, featured a network of tubes that whisked dirt and debris away to a canister, often hidden in a closet or basement. Just by connecting a hose to an inlet in any room, the system sprang to life, eliminating the need to drag a heavy vacuum cleaner from room to room. Today, the preference has shifted to lightweight, portable vacuums, but the ingenuity of the central vacuum system remains a remarkable aspect of home design from that era. Another interesting feature from the past is the carriage block, a relic from the days of horse-drawn carriages. These blocks, often found at the curbside, served as a practical step to help people gracefully exit carriages. They also doubled as mounting blocks for horseback riders. While modern transportation has rendered them obsolete, many of these carriage blocks still stand, alongside the occasional hitching post, as a charming reminder of a bygone era. In older brick homes, you might notice metal plates, often shaped like an S, X, or a star. These aren't just decorative, they're wall anchor plates, integral to the building's stability. They prevented the bricks from bowing out or collapsing by evenly distributing the structural load. Connected to rods that ran through the wall, these plates were a testament to the ingenuity of past construction methods. A strange feature of World War II homes is a random toilet in the basement, known as Pittsburgh potties. The strange, lonely toilet in the basement was to be used as a sewage backup. If a pipe becomes clogged, the bathtub or toilet could overflow. A basement toilet was used to detect overflows quicker and give the sewage a little bit of extra space. Heating homes with oil was once more common than it is today. Older houses often had large storage tanks, usually located in the basement, to hold the oil. This method was considered cleaner compared to using coal. Ice doors. Have you ever come across a quaint little door in your kitchen or pantry and wondered about its purpose? This small door was a clever feature for ice delivery. Back when refrigeration was a luxury, homes had a special area for the icebox, and this exterior access door allowed the iceman to deliver fresh ice directly into the box without entering the house. It's a charming reminder of the days before modern refrigeration. Then there are Dutch doors, a delightful legacy from 18th century Dutch settlers. These unique doors are split horizontally in the middle, allowing the top half to open independently. Imagine letting in the sunshine and a gentle breeze while keeping animals out. It's a design that beautifully combines functionality with a touch of rustic charm. Push-button light switches, a relic from the late 19th century, might still be found in some of the oldest homes. These switches, which predate the toggle switches invented in 1917, add a century-old charm to any house. While they were a marvel of their time, these push-buttons weren't without their flaws, often sticking inconveniently in one position. The Hoosier cabinet, a standalone piece of furniture in early 20th century kitchens, was more than just storage. It was a complete workstation. As built-in cabinetry and countertops became more popular, these versatile cabinets gradually faded out of use, yet they remain a symbol of a bygone era in kitchen design. The steam radiator, introduced in 1855, was a common sight in many homes and early skyscrapers. Made of cast or wrought iron, these radiators were known for their distinctive pinging sound, a result of steam pressure. Although less efficient than modern heating systems, they were an economical option for centralized heating at the time, marking an important milestone in home heating history. Claw foot tub. Ever wondered what made bathtubs a hit in the 1950s? It was the claw foot tub, a big inviting bathtub with feet shaped like claws. Made from tough cast iron, these tubs were built to last. They had this glossy finish, usually in classic white, that made them look really sleek and stylish. In the 1950s, people absolutely loved these tubs for a relaxing soak. They were deep, spacious, and perfect for unwinding. Isn't it amazing how something as simple as a bathtub can be so full of character and history? Sleeping porches were a charming and practical feature in homes, particularly in warmer climates. These unique spaces, blending the indoors with the outdoors, provided a cool, airy place to sleep during the hot summer months. More than just a seasonal retreat, these porches often served as a healing space for those with health ailments. In fact, doctors back then would recommend patients with tuberculosis to sleep on these porches throughout the year. Not just limited to the front of the house, these porches could be a deck or a balcony, usually enclosed with screens or surrounded by windows to allow for a gentle breeze. Funky room dividers from the 1950s were more than just a way to separate spaces. They were a statement of style and creativity. Back in the day, open-plan living wasn't as common as it is now, and these dividers played a crucial role in defining areas within a room without the need for permanent walls. Imagine walking into a living room and seeing a brightly colored, artistically designed divider. These weren't just plain screens. They often featured bold patterns, vibrant colors, and innovative materials like teak, bamboo, or even intricately woven fabric. Some dividers had shelves or cubbies, serving a dual purpose of decoration and storage. Now, let's step outside to the grounds of larger estates. Here, you might discover something quite intriguing. An outdoor barn transformed into what was known as a summer kitchen. Picture this, a space equipped with large fireplaces and stone ovens, separate from the main house. Why, might you ask? Well, back in the day, these summer kitchens were bustling with activity during warmer months. Servants would prepare big meals here. The reason was practical, to keep the main house cool. Since cooking was done on wood-burning stoves and fireplaces, having a separate building for this purpose meant the family could avoid the sweltering heat. It's a glimpse into a past lifestyle, where architecture and daily life were closely intertwined to suit the season's demands. Fireplaces. Modern fireplaces are mostly for show, but old-time fireplaces were super important, and you'd usually see one in every big room of a house. The fanciest kind was the Rumford fireplace. It had a tall, not-so-deep fire pit that was great at pushing most of the heat into the room. When people started using furnaces and central heating, they didn't need fireplaces as much, so a lot of them got closed up. Funny thing is, nowadays, lots of folks think having a fireplace is really cool, so fixing them up has become a popular thing to do. Waterbed. Now, let's walk into a bedroom, and there it is, the waterbed, a mattress filled with water. Back in the 70s, these beds were the cool new thing. People loved them because they were so different from regular beds. They even thought waterbeds were good for them, saying things like they helped with back pain and made sleep better. What was about these beds that captured everyone's attention? Why did they become such a hit? Let us know in comments. Root cellars, a staple in many older homes, played a crucial role in how families preserved their food. These spaces, often an unfinished room in the basement or a separate cellar built into the ground, were perfect for storing vegetables, fruits, and nuts. The beauty of a root cellar lay in its ability to maintain controlled temperatures and steady humidity, key factors in keeping food from spoiling over long periods. In today's world, where technology and refrigeration are part of our daily lives, the need for root cellars has diminished. However, in many older properties, you might still come across these historical food storage spaces, standing as a testament to the ingenuity of past generations. As we finish looking at these old home features, we remember how things used to be. We saw lots of vintage photos and learned about homes in the 1950s in the USA. These old styles are not used anymore, but it's fun to see how things were in the past. If you like this video, please hit the like button. Don't forget to comment and share it with your friends. This helps us make more videos about interesting old stuff. Thanks for watching.
During the 1970s, our homes reflected our style and freedom, boasting bold and unique design elements that remain eye-catching. This era marked a departure from the standard homes of the 50s and 60s, celebrating creativity and the personal touch in every corner. Let's take a nostalgic look back at the 1970s, exploring iconic home trends that shaped this vibrant decade. Each trend tells a story of a time that dared to be different. Some are forgettable, some are regrettable, but all are certain to bring back warm memories. Step into a 1970s living room and imagine the sensation of plush, shag carpeting underfoot, a signature feature of the time. The popularity of shag carpeting soared in the 60s and 70s thanks to new synthetic fibers and improved manufacturing methods that made these lush carpets both affordable and widely available. This fluffy carpet, the plusher the better, came in a vibrant array of colors like hot pink, scarlet, sunshine yellow, baby blue, gold, green, and like my mom and dad had, bright orange. And of course, you needed the shag rug rake to keep your pile tall and proud in addition to vacuuming. Drop something small, like a pin or an earring, back into its fibers, and you might as well say goodbye. It's probably gone for good. While those shag rugs were difficult to clean, there was another flooring that was a breeze to shine. It gets a bad rap, but linoleum floors were durable, versatile, and easy to care for. Linoleum hit the scene in the 1970s as more women entered the workforce. This new flooring, which didn't need to be waxed, was a breeze to care for and could handle the heavy traffic in kitchens and bathrooms. It also came in loads of colors and patterns. And the boldness of the 70s didn't end at your feet. It climbed the walls too, with distinctly patterned wallpaper that made every room pop. The designs were vibrant and bold, showcasing geometric shapes, alongside floral and botanical prints. Speaking of colors, harvest gold, avocado green, mustard yellow, and burnt orange were all the rage. In some homes, the wallpaper didn't just cover the walls, it wrapped all the way up across the ceilings too. Additionally, many wallpapers featured outdoor scenes, creating a serene, natural feel inside the home by bringing the beauty and calm of the outdoors indoors. Before the 1970s, living room setups often prioritized conversation, with TVs tucked away in corners or on movable carts. However, as technology advanced and television grew more popular in the 70s, the TV became the centerpiece of the room. These weren't just simple electronic devices anymore. They were major pieces of furniture, often housed in large wood cabinets that matched the room's other furnishings. A decent 21-inch color TV back in the early 70s could set you back about $500, roughly equivalent to $3,500 today. The top of these substantial TV cabinets was frequently used to display family photos and various knickknacks, integrating them further into the home's decor. Do you remember the oversized wooden spoon and fork hanging in your mom's kitchen? These were part of a trend that embraced natural materials and a return to simpler times in home decor. In addition to the TV, the living room of the 70s often featured a console stereo, quite different from the more modern systems of the 80s with their glass doors and stacked components. This decade's stereo was typically housed in a long, low wooden cabinet. The front doors either swung open or slid aside, and sometimes a section of the top could be lifted like a car hood, revealing the turntable and controls tucked neatly inside. This design not only kept the stereo components dust-free, but also integrated seamlessly with the rest of the room's furnishings. For the more trend-conscious homes, you might even find a conversation pit. These weren't your average sunken living rooms like those common in the 80s and 90s. Instead, they were built several steps down into the room's design, complete with comfortable seating and perimeter lighting that created a perfect spot for gatherings and conversations. As the popularity of the American ranch house grew, the sunken living room was a way to differentiate the space. Often the center of the pit featured a low table or a cozy fireplace, adding to the ambiance. At the same time, innovative and stylish, conversation pits could be risky for young children or the elderly due to their open and unprotected nature. Despite the potential dangers, they made for a fun and unique feature at many swanky 70s parties, even if they sometimes led to unexpected accidents. Modular furniture was another hit of the 1970s, offering a sort of above-ground conversation pit. By arranging the sectional pieces, you could easily create a cozy space ideal for group chats. Interestingly, this versatile setup could also be tweaked to keep certain things, or people, like perhaps your daughter and her dolls, out of the conversation zone if needed. This flexibility made modular furniture a popular choice for both socializing and selectively excluding within the same room. For the ultimate swinging bachelor of the 70s, Playpen brand modular furniture was the go-to. It's pretty clear what vibe they were marketing. And if you weren't hip enough for the Playpen or chic enough for a conversation pit, there was another quintessential 70s piece, the hide-a-bed couch. This sofa by day transformed into a guest bed by night, ideal for hosting relatives who somehow never thought to book a hotel. Chances are, if you visited family in the 60s or 70s, you've slept on one. And what did they use for a blanket? Likely a granny square Afghan, often found draped over the back of a couch or chair. These iconic, slightly itchy blankets were perfect for snuggling under as the evening air turned chilly. And of course, there was the ever-popular beanbag chair. In 1968, a company hired a few Italian designers to create a chair that represented the counterculture of the day. The beanbag was everything the 70s represented. It was non-traditional, it was non-conforming, it was fun, it was flexible, and teenagers loved them. The bathroom in every 1970s home might have been the true playground for some of the era's most experimental decor. Starting with the floors, Carpeting became a popular choice, not just for its style, but for the warmth and comfort it provided to bare feet. But why stop at the floors? There were plenty of other surfaces ready for a cozy makeover. Initially, it was the toilet lids that got dressed up in fuzzy covers, often accompanied by matching floor mats. Soon, tank lids received the same treatment, and why not go all out and cover the entire tank? The carpeting became so widespread that some bathrooms started to look like the interiors of the custom conversion vans popular during the same period. Does anyone else remember those battery-powered wall clocks with matching candle sconces from the 1970s? These were quite the staple in many homes, including mine. We had this set hanging on the wall for years. When we finally took it down, I recall tossing the never-lit dark green candles in the trash. Another iconic fixture on the walls of many 1970s homes was the famous poster of Farrah Fawcett in a red one-piece swimsuit. This image of Farrah became a defining symbol of the decade, capturing the essence of 1970s pop culture. Purchased by millions, the poster graced not just the bedrooms of teenage boys, but also found a place in many fathers' dens, becoming a widespread cultural phenomenon. In many households like my own, it was a staple piece of decor that represented the style and trends of the time. If you enjoyed this journey through the 1970s home decor, why not dive a bit deeper with us? Stick around for more and click on the next video to continue our nostalgic trip through time. Let's keep exploring together.
The 1980s, a decade of change, challenge, and charm. Welcome to American Vintage Tales. In this video, we'll take you on a time travel adventure to the 80s, where you'll discover the household items that have vanished from our modern homes. But first, let's reminisce about some of the iconic aspects of the 80s culture, such as the catchy tunes from MTV, the flashy members-only jackets, and the funky parachute pants. The 80s had a style of its own, but it wasn't all about the fashion or the music. Our homes were undergoing a transformation too, leaving behind the looks of the 70s. How would you cope if your smart home suddenly switched to 1980s technology overnight? Find out in this video. One of the biggest changes in the 80s was the way we watched TV. Back then, most of us didn't have cable or Netflix. We had to rely on those rabbit ear antennas to catch TV shows from the air. You know, those two metal sticks that stood on top of TVs and looked like bunny ears. You had to move them around to get a clear picture, kind of like catching butterflies with a net. Sometimes you had to use aluminum foil or coat hangers to boost the signal. And don't get me started on the static noise. It was a little dance we all did for the best show, a clear screen. But TV wasn't the only thing that changed in the 80s. Our homes also got a makeover with some new and old elements. One of them was the glass block, a versatile material that was used for many purposes in our homes, such as faux walls, windows, partitions, and even furniture. Glass blocks were first invented in 1900 by a German company, but they became popular in the 80s thanks to the influence of Art Deco and postmodernism. They added a cool retro vibe to our homes with their geometric shapes, colors, and patterns. They also let in natural light and created a sense of privacy and space. Glass blocks were so trendy in the 80s that they even made an appearance in the opening credits of The Golden Girls. Who doesn't love that show? They also caught the eye of Hollywood, popping up in movies like the 1989 hit Look Who's Talking with Kirstie Alley and John Travolta. This trend didn't just fade away, it stylishly strutted into the 90s too. Have you ever seen these chairs before? They are cane wood and chrome chairs, and they were the era's icons, mixing tradition with a futuristic vibe. Imagine sitting on the edge of time where warm cane meets cool chrome. These chairs weren't just for sitting, they were a trip back to a stylish past. Today, we have ergonomic and comfortable chairs that can adjust to our posture and preferences. But in the 80s, we had cane wood and chrome chairs that looked like they came from a sci-fi movie. They were sleek, shiny, and sophisticated, but they were also hard, cold, and stiff. How do you think they felt to sit on? Do you have any cane wood and chrome chairs in your home? If not, would you like to have one? Let us know in the comments below. Speaking of iconic 80s features, honey oak cabinets were the go-to for any modern home of the time. If you didn't have them, you definitely knew someone who did, or you spotted them in countless movies and TV shows. Today, we have a variety of colors and materials for our cabinets, such as white, black, gray, wood, metal, or glass. But in the 80s, we had honey oak cabinets that looked like they came from a cozy cabin. They were warm, rustic, and natural, but they were also bulky, outdated, and hard to match. How do you think they fit in with the rest of the 80s decor? Can you guess which movie or TV show featured this honey oak cabinet? Hint, it starred a famous comedian and his family. Write your answer in the comments below. Well, maybe not every home had a floor-to-ceiling mirror, but you probably saw it often enough in a film or television show. Mirrors have long been a device people use to make a small room feel bigger. They also reflect light and create a sense of depth and space. Do you think it looked good? In the 80s, we had floor-to-ceiling mirrors that looked like they came from a dance studio. They were glamorous, dramatic, and fun, but they were also impractical, fragile, and hard to clean. Today, we have multifunctional and customizable furniture that can suit our needs and preferences. But in the 80s, we had clear furniture that looked like it came from the future, thanks to the 80s love affair with lucite. This trend, a nod to the Art Deco era, meant that playing footsai under the table was off the table. It was all about sleek, see-through designs that added a touch of cool to any space. Do you find it appealing? Today, we have more advanced and efficient food dehydrators that can dry a variety of foods. But in the 80s, we had food dehydrators that looked like giant plastic boxes with trays and vents. These devices worked by using heat and airflow to reduce the water content in foods, preserving them and intensifying their flavors. Home cooks loved the healthier snacking options back then. Do you think it looks cool? Speaking of delicious and nutritious treats, do you remember the 80s snacks that we used to enjoy while watching our favorite movies and shows? Well, if you do, you probably also remember the cabinets that we used to store our cassette and VHS tapes. We all owned many tapes back then, and they needed a lot of room. These small cabinets helped us keep everything tidy and let us easily show our collection to friends and family. Today we have digital and streaming platforms for our music and movies. We can access thousands of titles with just a click or a tap. Another 80s feature that you might remember is the floral bedding and curtains, especially those frilly, girly designs by Laura Ashley. They were huge in the 80s, and you likely encountered them at some point, whether in your own home or someone else's. They also appeared in many movies and TV shows, such as My Stepmother is an Alien with Kim Basinger. Do you think they were pretty? Before smartphones, 80s teens had the coolest novelty phones, think Garfield or Snoopy. If you didn't have one, you probably wished for one while flipping through holiday catalogs from Sears or JCPenney. These phones were fun, colorful, and shaped like your favorite characters or objects. They also made a great conversation piece for your friends and family. Today, we have wireless and smartphones. But in the 80s, we had novelty phones that we had to plug into the wall. They were also limited in features, such as caller ID, speed dial, or voicemail. How did we cope? Do you have any novelty phones in your home? Privacy was a big deal when it came to phone calls. With those super long receiver cords, you could wander, but you always hoped no one else was listening in on another phone in the house. Can you name the 80s movie that featured this long receiver cord? Hint, it starred a young Tom Cruise and involved a risky business. Write your answer in the comments below. And let's not forget those giant, extravagant drapes that touched the floor. They weren't just window coverings. They were a bold statement of style and luxury, reminiscent of royalty, though no less a hassle to clean. These drapes were thick, heavy, and rich in colors and fabrics. They also added a dramatic and elegant touch to any room, especially the living room or the bedroom, even bathrooms. Do you find them classy? In a world where digital dominates, there's a timeless treasure that still finds its place in the heart of many homes: the humble recipe card. Yes, the digital age has brought us a bulk of recipes at our fingertips. YouTube, Google, Pinterest. But then, there's something magical about these little cards. Each stain, each crust of flour, butter, or oil tells a story. A story of delicious meals, of family gatherings, of love and laughter shared around the dining table. These cards aren't just instructions. They're heirlooms passed down through generations, each recipe a cherished memory, a secret shared. In their simplicity, they cut through the noise, offering a tangible connection to our culinary heritage. I bet you had a whole set of casserole dishes with flowers on it. Who didn't? I hope you enjoyed this journey back to the 80s and learned something new about the household. Items that have vanished from our modern homes. Thank you for watching American Vintage Tales. Do you remember any other trends we didn't mention? Or do you want to talk about the ones you had in your home? Please tell us in the comments below. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more. Watch our next videos for more time travel adventure and past.